podcast. We are the invaders of the cigar world. My name is Cigar Kurt, your unofficial introductory voice of the Cigar Loons, coming to you trailside on the Appalachian Trail in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. Most evenings, you'll find this cowboy on the front porch with a good cigar. But honestly, I'm just honored and humbled to be here with my Loon brothers. Now, before we get this party started, I'd like to take a second and introduce to you those Loon brothers. We're going to start off with luxury cigar reviewer John, our very own Havana connection, our in-house tobacco historian and fact checker. From seed to consumer, he can answer any cigar-related question you have. He has been dubbed the cigar authority of the entirety of Florida. And then we're going to go over to Grumpy Preacher, spiritual advisor to the stars, our very own conspiracy theorist expert. He's debunked everything from the Illuminati to Area 51. Next, we got coming up the Cigar Panda, the unofficial mayor of South Florida, the man who knows everyone. He has managed to amass a very, very large and unhealthy collection of cigar swag, so much so that he is currently in talks with an undisclosed network for a TV pilot called Cigar Hoarders. And then we're going to go over to this PC Silverback, the man, the myth, the legend. He is the true muscle of the Cigar Loons and is the unofficial director of our Special Operations Division. And then last but not least, how can we forget our Prime Minister from across the pond, Rocky Cigar Reviewer Gaz, the man responsible for putting everything together behind the scenes. He is our resident super palate who can outtaste and outsmell a ginger grizzly bear, and he is not afraid to let you know about it. So much so that sometimes, guys, we got to rein him in a little bit. With that, let's go ahead and get this party started.
And here we are. Let's get this party started. So, of course, good evening and welcome, of course, to the Cigar Loons podcast. We do apologise tonight as it's us loony lot and we haven't got a guest, but PCA's just finished. So, of course, tonight we've got the pleasure, of course, of JJ joining us and, of course, Cigar Don, another two of our Loon brothers and basically two of our friends. And they've come on the podcast tonight. So, JJ, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, my brother, give us a quick introduction and tell people who you are.
Well, my real name's Jeff. I'm from Oklahoma. I've been in and out of cigars for 10 to 12 years. Just really started taking them serious about 6-9 months ago. And as you all know, I love cigar bid. It's been the bane of my existence. But I love smoking cigars, and the cigar community has been probably one of the best things I found in a long time. And I'm glad to be here.
And how can people find you on your social medias, and also how can they find you on your podcast channel as well, bro?
My podcast, I put it on Spotify and YouTube under The Stogie Cave. And on Facebook, my name is Jeff Judd.
There you go. And of course, we'll go down to Cigar Don. So, Don, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, my brother, give us an introduction and tell people who Cigar Don is.
What's going on, guys? My name's Don. I'm in Houston, Texas. I've been smoking cigars probably about 10 years, but really seriously, probably about like JD for about the last 9 months or so, branching out. Enjoy hanging out and talking to the guys. You can find me on TikTok under the Cigar Don. Not really active on the other social medias. I have a Facebook, but I can't tell you what the name is right now because I don't know it. So yeah, just enjoy smoking cigars and hanging out with my buddies and seeing what I can learn.
And that's what it's about, learning from one another. So, of course, we're going to go around and tell everyone what cigars we're smoking. So, of course, I'm smoking the My Father Connecticut, which is a Toro. It's 6 1/4 by 54 ring gauge, and it's an Ecuadorian Connecticut, as I know of. And I don't know the binder, and I don't know the filler, but I have put a post up. So, but let's go down to the other guys and get what they're smoking.
All right. Oh, JJ, go ahead.
Okay, I'm smoking the My Father, the Le Bijou 1922. It's my first time ever smoking a My Father cigar.
And
just want
I've got. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just going to say a quick hi, of course, to Crispin. So the Cigar Apostle's watching, and hi to everyone else who's watching. So thank you for watching. But go on, Kurt, tell us about your cigar, my brother.
I'm enjoying the Esteban Carreras, taken from the Devil's Hand. This is the 6x50 Toro size. This cigar's in my rotation. I smoke it maybe once every couple weeks, every 3 weeks. It's a cigar that I don't particularly smoke every day. It's kind of got to have a craving for it. But this is a Nicaraguan Puro. It's got a Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper. It's got a double binder from Esteli and Jalapa, and then it's got a Nicaraguan filler in it. Very good cigar. If you want to know more about it, we can get into that. But it's great.
Yep, and I, of course, to Case. So Case is watching. So hey up, Vandal, if you're around, my brother. And of course, we've got Ivan watching as well. So hey up, Ivan. The best, my father, no doubt. Yeah, they are good cigars. So of course, Don, what cigar are you smoking, my brother?
I am smoking the La Roma de Cuba Reserva, and on the label it says Pamposa, which I don't know what that means, but it's the first time I've had this one. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm going to give it a shot. I bought this probably 3-4 weeks ago, so it's been resting. So we're going to give it a shot.
Cool. And then we go down to our resident conspiracy theorist, Mr. Grumpy. What you smoking, my brother? And I've already got him laughing.
Don't get me started, man. Eric Espinoza, 601 La Bamba Napalm.
Oh.
It is
boy.
a 552 Robusto.
Oh boy.
It is a Nicaraguan Puro, has a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, and it has Nicaraguan fillers. And just so you know, there will be a severe case of hiccups soon to be coming. I will forewarn you of that now.
So now you've had the warning. So if you want to stay with us, you're going to see the hiccups.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All unique cigars that everyone's pulled out. And this is the thing, you know something? We all learn off one another on what cigar we've got. And by giving everyone recommendations. But what we'll do, we'll go in a little bit, of course, about the PCA. So, of course, we know PCA finished yesterday in Vegas. And I don't know if anyone's seen any of the latest cigars that have come out. But I'm really excited, especially me, because you know I'm a Christoph fan. It's the new Christoph cigars. So Christoph came out with 3. Hey up, Vic. I can see you there, my brother, watching. And, of course, thank you for joining us, Vic. But, of course, you look at Ernesto from EP Carrillo, brought out the Sumatra. And, of course, we know the Encore Black that the Cigar Loons managed to have and try and smoke. I think there's a lot of interesting cigars that have come out this year. And I just want to get your guys' takes on what you're excited about smoking that you've seen come out from PCA. So, JJ.
Well, I've been looking up over here, and it's the AJ Fernandez, the 20th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It looks the 2 decades of dedication.
All right.
I'd love to try the price point.
Yeah. So the price point's what's taking you, or is the price point 2D?
Yeah.
What's the price point on that one, my brother?
Box of 20s, $400.
Holy shit!
Gee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get 50 cigars from that from Neptune's.
That's what I'm saying. It's a numbered. It's 7,500 boxes.
Ah, so there you go. That's why you're paying
Yeah.
for it.
But I would love to try it if I ever had the chance.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you know something? You've picked out a great cigar coming out by AJ. Of course, AJ's made some other ones that we can talk about. And you know something? We'll go over to Kate. Kate, what have you seen that's come out to PC? What's interesting in my brother?
Well, of course, I'm a big fan of EP Carrillo. So, of course, I was excited when we smoked the Encore Black. But I saw the Sumatra wrapper coming out. I'm excited to smoke that. I don't know what the price range is on that. I think it's probably going to be a little bit more affordable than the Encore Black. At least I hope it is. The Encore Black, that's an occasional thing for me, but I like to smoke have some type of EP Carrillo in my rotation. I mean, as you know, I like the Allegiance, but that Sumatra, and I know they've announced they're going to come out with like 4 or 5 more wrappers throughout the year, and they're going to focus on that wrapper. So this one is a Sumatra, and I like a good Sumatra. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that and trying that.
Yeah. And of course, we'll go over, of course, to Don. So Don, what's exciting you that you've seen that's going out to PCA, my brother?
So I've never really been in tune with PCA until I started talking with you guys. And so the one that I just can't wait to get my hands on is that Encore Black that you guys smoked the other day. That just hearing you guys talk about it, I was salivating just doing that. But I also at my local shop they had a tatuaje, and I don't know what the name's going to be. All it had was the wrapper that said PCA on it. So it's what they were coming out with at PCA. And I got one and I smoked it. And it was one of the better tatuajes that I've ever had. So I'm looking forward to finding out what they named that and having that one in the rotation.
And Grumpy's already started with the hiccups. But Grumpy, what have you seen what's coming out of PCA?
Actually, I haven't really followed really close, but watching one of the on Instagram this morning, I think it was that they were it was Karen Berger. They were on with her. They were on with what she had at the PCA, and like I said, I wasn't catching a whole lot. I was in the middle of doing something, but it sounded like that she had an interesting something there. But like I said, I didn't catch it all. But I know I know she's known for turning out some stuff. So
yeah,
I'd be interested to see what that was.
She's brought 2 out, and to be honest with you, the price point's not a good price point. The $19 a cigar that she brought out. And I know she's brought these 2 blends out. Now, what do you guys reckon on celebrities making cigars? Because, as anyone would know, Gurkha, of course, has had Mike Tyson. And the queues were, they were crazy. Let me put it that way, from what I saw on Instagram. And do you reckon the celebrities should be getting into cigars? Because if you look at how it is now, you've got Guy Fieri, of course, with Espinosa. Of course, you've got James Hetfield of Metallica with Drew Estate. Now, of course, you've got Mike Tyson with Gurkha. Do you reckon the celebrities should be having their names put to cigars, or do you reckon it ruins their credibility? Say, for instance, the cigar is not the best cigar out.
I would say if they're a cigar lover themselves, go for it. But if it's just a quick, I'm going to put my name on it for a cash grab, they just need to stay out. I mean, if they're not passionate about what they're smoking or putting out, nah, stay away.
What about you, Kurt?
Exactly.
What's your opinion?
As far as what's out there, as most of you know, I'm not really the biggest fan of the M81. It's just not my palate. I haven't smoked the new Shade to Black. I haven't tried that one yet. But as far as the knuckle sandwich, Guy Fieri has been a cigar smoker for years. He loves cigars. He smokes cigars every day. They actually worked on that blend for 18 months. He's behind that brand. So, and it's a good cigar. I enjoy that cigar. So in that respect, he's someone that's involved with it. But as far as if someone's just going to put their name on it, do I think Mike Tyson's going to be showing up to cigar events? No. So I don't know. I think that's just kind of a hype thing. But if someone's a true cigar smoker and really is proud of that cigar, like, for example, Guy Fieri and Metallica, I know they're proud of their cigar.
Yep.
So there's two different roads, two different paths you take, and that's my take on it.
Yeah. Don, what's your take, my brother?
So I'm going to echo what these guys said. If they're passionate about it and they're gonna be involved in it. I'm a fan of the M81. I like it a lot. And I'm a big Metallica fan as well. So, Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion when I was growing up. So I'm interested to see. I'll definitely smoke it just because it's Mike Tyson. I don't know, but again, if it's a bad cigar, then I don't think that does the cigar or them any good, to bring out a bad cigar and put a celebrity on it. So I won't go shopping just because a celebrity endorsed it. But like I said, if somebody's passionate about it, like the knuckle sandwich and that kind of stuff, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah. Oh, we've just lost Don, so
Well,
he'll be back. But
give it a shot right out.
Give us your opinion, my brother.
Well, I'm kind of with everybody as far as, if you just want to stick your name on something, for it to look good and all that, just don't bother. My question is that these celebrities that do, the collections and all that have their names on the cigars. And like, Guy Fieri, I'm sure, he probably had a good balance in the blend, what was going in it, what would he like to see, what would he like to taste, now, and the guys that are passionate about it, that really doing it because they want a blend of cigar that they like, and and they put their name on it. That's one thing, especially if you're involved in the collaboration process. You have some say-so in what goes into it, and things of that nature, and you're involved with the process. I don't care if you're a celebrity or a no-name. If that's your desire, knock it out of the park. But if you're just looking to stick your name on something to say, hello, look at me, just don't even bother, because you'll ruin your reputation as soon as you stick your name on something and somebody produces a dud. That's your butt and have your name on it.
I tell you, I tell you someone that I would like to see produce a cigar, and I think he would be behind it. I think he'd be passionate about it. And that's Michael Jordan. I'd love to see him do a cigar.
I agree.
They call it the Cigar Jordan. You heard it here first on the Cigar Loons podcast.
Yeah, but you know something. If Michael Jordan does one, of course, it's going to be a Cuban, and it's just going to be all Cuban blend, and you guys are never going to be able to get to try it. I think, like Grumpy's just said, if it's a dud, your name's on it. Now, of course, we've just mentioned Metallica. So, of course, everyone knows the shade of blacks come out the S84. And, of course, it was the Freestyle cigar that everyone was smoking. Now, mentioning no names, but a couple of our brothers and a couple of sisters of the Leaf have said it wasn't the greatest smoking cigar. And at PCA, of course, they've been pushing that cigar. Now, I don't know if it's going to sell because of the hype with it being around Metallica, or if people are going to go back and say, you know what, it's not a great cigar. Why have you brought it out? And if that's the case, then Drew Estate's going to have to take it back and, of course, reblend it. Now, me personally, if I'd brought that cigar out, I'd be asking the shop owners, how many of the Freestyle packs have sold? What's the general consensus of how it's smoking? And if I got a consensus of, well, you've not sold many in this shop, you've not sold many in this, the consensus is it's not a great cigar, I wouldn't have even released that at PCA. I would have gone straight back to the drawing board and gone over it because, as you guys know with the M81, of course, it's San Andreas wrapper, Connecticut broadleaf binder, and the fill is Pennsylvania. Well, of course, on the shade, it is, of course, Ecuadorian Connecticut. It's got, of course, Connecticut binder, Pennsylvania filler. So one wrapper is just going to knackered your whole blend. That's just crazy. There's one piece is knackered that blend. And I wish Metallica all the best because, like I say, big Metallica fan, I've seen them loads. Buy all the shit, all the merch, because that's how I am. But I wish them all the best in that cigar. I'm definitely interested in the Mike Tyson one. And let's go into now a little bit of boxing, shall we? So, who do you guys have for July? Mike Tyson or Jake Paul? Who do you reckon is going to win? So, JJ, who do you reckon, my brother, after that fight in July?
Honestly, I think physically, Mike Tyson all day. Since this is most likely a money fight, it's probably going to be the Paul boy.
Mm-hmm. Kurt, who do you reckon, my brother?
Mike Tyson. He's an animal. So.
Yeah. And of course, Don, who do you reckon?
I've seen some training videos of Tyson, and so Tyson is, I looked it up the other day, he is 5 years older than I am, and I watched him training going, first of all, the first punch that I threw, I'd have a heart attack, but I watched him training going, man, I don't know that, but then you get the youth of Jake Paul. If it's a real fight, I don't trust that stuff anymore, but if it's a real fight, and Tyson's in as good a shape as it looks like he's in, like Kurt said, he's an animal. He just wills himself to win, and I don't know that that is it Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whichever one it is.
Jake Paul.
I don't know that they have the boxing technique and knowledge that Tyson can bring to the ring.
Yeah. And Grump, who have you got for the fight?
The first lucky punch that Jake Paul lands ticks Tyson off and signs the end of the fight. Boom. Just that quick. Tyson will play with him like a cat until he slips a good punch in, and he's done.
Yeah. You know something, my money's on Tyson all day long because you really got to look at the guy, how he is.
He's a beast.
Jake Paul's going to go in there, try and dance around, try and show him up, and all the rest. He'll land a punch. Tyson will get that blood faced again, and bang. See you later, Jake Paul. Done.
Uh-huh.
And I reckon that's what's going to happen. You know something? I've seen his training videos, and he said to, of course, Joe Rogan, I never want to get back into boxing because I get the thirst again. I don't want that thirst because it's an addictive thirst. I'm away from all the addictive stuff. I didn't want to go to the gym. But my wife said I put a bit of weight on, so I went to the gym. Now I'm on the treadmill every day, doing 8 hours a day on the treadmill. I'm doing this, doing that. You look at the guy, considering his age, geez, he's punching them bags, he's punching the people with the guards on. And he's going full scale fucknut. And I mean fucknut. And he just doesn't give a shit. And I tell you now, if Jake Paul thinks he's going to have an easy fucking fight, he isn't. Because Tyson's going to knock his fucking head straight off and say, look at me, I'm still the beast that I am.
Well, and he's still moving like a 25-year-old. He's the head bobbing, the dipping and weaving, and all. He's moving like a 25-year-old. I tell you now.
Me. It must be that medical cannabis what he's been making. I need some. Fuck me, I love having some movement to that. Jeez.
And how
must be a good fucking blend.
How can you not be nervous getting in the ring with Mike Tyson?
Exactly.
Nerves.
Oh,
dude, done bit an ear off, man. I mean, come on.
If I got in that boxing ring, there'd be skid marks going all the way over the fucking ring.
Ain't locking up with him. He done cannibal, man. Ain't locking up with him.
A 3/4.
Now, I heard. I don't remember who it was the other day. I heard somebody. They were talking about. Jake Paul had put himself in a bad position. Either way this fight goes, because if Jake Paul wins, everybody's gonna give him crap about beating up an old man. But when Tyson kicks his butt, everybody's gonna give him crap about getting beat up by an old man. So Jake Paul ain't got no win in this, no matter which way he goes.
No, because there's
He's,
what,
he,
a 30
he
year
ain't
difference.
coming out good either way.
I think there's about 30 years difference, isn't there, in age?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
You know something? I just hope it's not one of them fights where they don't go into it. What I want to see is a proper boxing match. I don't want
Yeah.
to see this pussyfooting around
No.
where he's dancing around in the ring, doing this, doing that. Come on. It's a proper boxing match. You're supposed to be fighting.
And that's what I'm
Hit
saying.
one
I
another. Come
don't
on,
trust this.
let's
I
get
don't
on.
trust this stuff anymore. You know, I don't trust that it isn't just for money and they're going to dance around for, you know, however many rounds, 3 rounds. And, you know,
Well,
because Tyson didn't dance around with anybody for 3 rounds, you know?
and no, I never known him to be a dancer, period. So, you know. Old Jake starts that dancing, Tyson will cut that ring off on him. He won't have a whole lot of dance floor.
I don't know if you watch the Hangover film where he's dancing around in there.
Oh gosh.
he likes Phil Collins when he says boom, 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 as the drums go off. But anyway, what's everyone getting out the cigars? I've just had a subtle note of honey in this, with of course it being the My Father Connecticut. There's honey, there's that earth and cream, there's the leather, and just a small little bit of cedar, just a small little bit of cedar in there. That just at the back of the mouth. But what's everyone else getting out of their cigars?
I'd definitely say
So JJ,
some leather.
what are you getting out of yours?
Definitely some leather. And a sweetness I can't really put a name to, which I get that quite often, and I don't know what it is. And I'd say a tad bit of the cedar as well. But I'm hoping to find a little bit of chocolate in this bad boy. I know it can sneak in these 1922s at time, and I'm hoping to find it.
Kurt, what are you getting your cigar, bro?
Well, this cigar is one of the most unique cigars I've ever experienced, and I've smoked probably 30 of them. This is the most earthy cigar that I've ever had. You get white pepper in there, which turns to black pepper later in the second and final third. You get some leather, very earth, but you get this warm sourdough dough bread that I just absolutely love. And I swear to you, you actually taste it's real mushrooms. It's a real earthy mushrooms. And it's not, when you think of mushrooms in the earth, you think, oh God, that must taste nasty, but it's very, very unique. It's so unique that it's, like I said, I don't smoke this every day. I kind of got to have a hankering for it. So, you know, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks I'll pick one up, but it's very unique. If you haven't smoked one, I suggest you pick one up and try it.
That sounds great.
So, Don, what are you getting out of your cigar, bro?
So when I first lit this, I got a lot of chocolate flavor out of it, which and I'm into, I don't know, almost a second third, and it's I got a real dry mouth, so I'm you know, getting that leather taste to it. I'm also getting I've always described it as like a campfire type taste, but I think I heard Kurt one time say that's charred oak type of flavor, and I really enjoy that. It's kind of might be my favorite flavor of when I get in the cigar. Is that I always said it smells like what I smell when I'm sitting around a campfire, you know. So that's what I'm getting so far. Retrohale is very nice on this too. It's not very hard.
Yeah.
So, well, you getting out to yours, Grump? Is that, of course.
Well, I'm getting some light notes of earth.
Oh, what? Sherry head
with some leather in there, and there's more than an ample dose of pepper. Trust me, this will jack you up if you ain't ready.
Yes,
Yeah.
it will.
That's why I only pull one of these out every so often.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a cigar like that jacks you up, and it's just
I'm telling you, man.
it's just ridiculous. It is. But
It's crazy.
it is.
Crazy.
But
I have not had one of those. I like the Warheads, and that to me is a pretty stout cigar. I cannot imagine smoking one of those. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, Grumpy.
Well, this is the first 601 I've had. I think I started off, kind of in the ditch.
Now the 601 Blue Label with the Connecticut broadleaf, I love that cigar. I love that's.
See, that's the next one I want to try right there because I've heard good about that.
Oh yeah, it's magnificent.
I've heard it's much more enjoyable. I mean, I enjoy this one, but God, they're tough to get through.
That green label, it tore me up. 601 green label, and it's a squirrel wrapper.
Oh,
it tore me up.
I like that as squirrel.
I've enjoyed the 601 Blue. I've enjoyed that a hell of a lot. It is a great cigar. It is. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind a lot of spice in the cigar, but I just know one thing: if I've not ate, you're gonna be bad, and you've got to eat, and it's just crazy. You know something? This cigar when I'm smoking this, my father, it's nice. It's nice with that honey. But would I go and pick it up all the time to smoke on a Connecticut basis? You know what? Yeah, it probably in my rotation because it's nice to have that honey. It's nice to have that little bit of white spice, the cream, the cedar, like I said. And that if not a bad cigar, it isn't. But I just don't know. It's the price point. Price point's the biggest thing for me, and with my father, you're going to be paying a hefty price with my father, especially in the UK anyway. Yeah.
You pay a hefty price for a factory smoke over there. Are you kidding?
Oh, way up. Grumpy's got to go down that rabbit hole. He's got to go down that rabbit hole. Yes, but
hey, it's not our fault your taxes are out the roof.
You know something? This is what people don't understand. It's like when I say to him, "Oh, we've just had the budget." What's a fucking budget? The budget is where they put the taxes up, and they put it up twice a year. Well, guess what gets put up the most? Beer and tobacco. And
of course,
get that up twice a year. And it's just crazy. When you look at the UK, we're the biggest country to smoke. And that's Cubans, New World cigars, cigarettes and everything. And we get taxed the most. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand. Cigarettes are a whole different kettle of fish because of all the chemicals in them.
Oh, yeah.
With a cigar that we're smoking, that is all natural tobacco. Nothing is being put in that. It's all infused properly. Natural ways of infusing the tobacco to get the notes of the leather and everything. We're not on about like fusion, of course, of Drew Estates, Cuba Cubas, or anything like that. That is artificial. This is basically the fermentation stage where they ferment it, and then you get them different notes. But this is a natural product. So why should a natural product be classified in the same category as cigarettes, vapes? Of course, the other tobacco that are out there that you can put in and you can smoke, the hookahs, them ones. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be. And the thing is, here in the UK, they want to put it in. And they're saying, well, if you smoke, it causes this. You know something? I've only ever told this story twice. But I had a fall a couple of years back, and I really fell down the stairs, and I disc another disc in the neck and everything, and found out, of course, I got the osteoarthritis in there. But as I was there, the doctor said to me, he goes, "Do you smoke?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I smoke cigars." "How many a day?" I said, "Oh, well, I have 2. Smoke more." I said, "Well, where are you from, Doc?" He goes, "I'm from Nicaragua. Smoke more cigars, you'll be fine." I'm like, okay, I'll take that advice. Thank you very much, Doc.
There you go, man.
And
Fine.
of course, whiskey tubes here. So whiskey tubes saying, of course, hello. So Hi, Whiskey
What's up,
Tube, and
man?
thank you, of course,
How
for
you doing,
joining us
brother?
and popping in.
Doing
Much
good, brother.
appreciated.
Or sister.
Well,
I'm not sure which, but doing good.
Well, considering we've got Whiskey Tube there now, what do you like to pair with your cigar? Because this is another interesting topic when we look at pairing. I know some people like bourbon, some people like beer, some people, of course, will stick with tea, or they'll stick with coffee. So, me personally, it's normally a coffee with my cigar, or I'll have a nice whiskey from Scotland, or maybe pull out the Buffalo Trace and I'll have a Buffalo Trace. But what about you, JJ? What do you pair with your cigar if you're doing a pairing with it, my brother?
Well, right now I'm drinking an old Coors Banquet with this My Father, and it's all right. But normally just simple Evan Williams, or even now and then just a good root beer goes good with some cigars.
Yeah. What about you, Kurt?
I'm not a big consumer of alcohol. When I do, it's maybe once or twice a month, but it's bourbon usually. I just finished off. I had a bottle of Eagle Rare that I finished off, but I like Buffalo Trace. But if just everyday smoking, I like ginger ale. And then when I do smoke, the one infused cigar that I do smoke is a Fat Bottom Betty. And I love to have a Diet Dr. Pepper with that cigar. It just brings out the flavors so wonderful. But most of the time, it's ginger ale. It's kind of a neutral. It's kind of tangy, but I like it.
Don, what about you, my brother? What do you like
So
to pair with your
kind of
cigar?
saying I don't drink a lot of alcohols. I had a surgery back in July that I can't do a whole lot of, I can't do any of the sodas, the carbonation or anything. But I do like. So it depends if I'm smoking a milder cigar. I like Basil Hayden bourbon. It's really smooth. Doesn't give you that bourbon burn when it goes down. Now, if I'm smoking, a heavier cigar, I think I'm gonna fall right with you guys. I like the blackened whiskey. It's a little bolder, gives it a little kick to it. But I would say mostly if I'm just out here on the porch smoking a cigar, I usually just have one of my zero type, Powerade Zero or Gatorade Zero or something, just to, especially if like this one that's kind of leather, it's got the dry mouth to keep the palate wet.
Yeah. And Mr. Grumpy, what do you like having with yours? I know you normally, of course, when I speak to you in the mornings, you normally got your coffee and got your morning cigar, but what do you like with, of course, your cigar?
Well, seeing as how I'm on the boat with Kurt and Don, I don't do a whole lot of drinking anymore. So when I did, it was like Wild Turkey 101 was about the only, whiskey that I drank. And then as far as a beer or whatever, about the only thing, and I don't maybe have 2 a year, but Guinness Extra Stout.
Yeah. Cool.
Otherwise, the coffee, and where Kurt likes the Dr. Pepper, I got the Pib, which is the similar thing.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the flavors and stuff that are in that, a lot of times will enhance some notes of what you're smoking, depending on what it is. So it's just a variety, but I just don't do the alcohol anymore. But there's still plenty of things you can pair a good cigar with and still enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
You have
of course, Whiskey Tube says there the Fat Bottom Betty is a great smoke, but I really like the Flathead 660 or the Nub Double Maduro. Now, don't get me wrong, Flathead 660 is a good cigar. The Nub's
Yeah,
good
Flathead's a good one.
cracking cigar. Yeah. And then, of course, they also say Wild Turkey 101 is my go-to bourbon, or Wild Turkey rare breed. So, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If any of the people that are viewing have got a question, don't get me wrong, shoot the question. I'll play it up in the chat and we don't mind answering questions. It's just we decided to come on tonight. We've got no guest, of course, because of PCA. But what I want to do is put a big shout out, of course, to our other brothers. So, of course, Cigar Panda, Mr. Luxury Cigar Reviewer, of course, Mr. Silverback. Then, of course, we got Case, who I know is watching. Of course, Vic is watching. And also to Matthew, Mr. Vital and Proof, and also to Dre. And then extended shout out to all the sisters of the Leaf, of course, as well. Our sisters. And we're just sitting, chilling, shooting the breeze like we normally do. And let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit now. Yeah, go on.
Just a quick side note. When you're talking about prices of cigars, I just want to give out a little nugget of one thing that I do. And I support my local. I've got one, now two, getting ready to open up, local lounges that I support. But when I order cigars and I find some really good deals, I'll buy them online, from the, like we all do. But there is, and I don't know if anybody uses this, but I've been using it for a couple of years. I order a lot from Thompson's or Cigar International. And if you do it on your personal computer or your laptop or whatever, JJ, don't go do this. You wait till after the show. But and it's called a Capital One extension. Just search for the Capital One extension, and and it downloads onto your computer. And then with you in Thompson's and Cigar International, for whatever reason, it'll sometimes it'll let you put in multiple coupon codes. And when you go to checkout, that Capital One extension will automatically pop up, and it'll pull every coupon code that's out there on the internet, and it'll go through and try them all. And sometimes I've gotten 35 up to 40% off. And it's just amazing what that does. And it works for other stores, online stores to shop at. But I've really noticed that it really shines with Thompson's and Cigar International, because I know, like, for Famous and Cigar Page, you can only put in one coupon. That's it. But I've been that Capital One extension on Cigar International and Thompson's. It's taken like 2 or 3 of them in there, and it really, and like I say, I think the most I've ever gotten off was like 40%, but usually like 30-35%. So, and of course, if you're military or first responder, you get free shipping as well. So,
hey Kurt, let me ask you.
Well, Whiskey Tube's just.
Do you have to use the Capital One payment source as well, or is it just a?
Nope.
Okay.
You can use whatever payment source you want, but it's just the Capital One extension. They were advertising it last year. I used to see commercials on it, but I came across it and I downloaded the extension. It just sits up there. But yeah, you can pay any way you want. So it's pretty neat. Good little tool. Save you some bucks.
What's the max price you'll pay for a cigar if you think it's not worth the price?
Oh man.
So, guys, what's the max price? What you'd pay?
I would say probably $25 to $30, which is very rare for me to do. Yeah, I would say about $30. I think beyond that, you might get some diminishing returns, but that's subjective because our palates are all different. And, but I'd say about $25 to $30.
For me, there are so many good cigars out there that are under $13.
Right.
That I don't really find that I have really branched out too much. I mean, like for me, like that, for instance, that Encore Black, the $17 price range on that's really stretching it for me, and it'd have to be kind of a special occasion.
Right.
So I really don't purchase a lot of expensive cigars, and what I'll do is like when I find a cigar that I like, I will, and I want to put it in my rotation. I'll wait and I'll watch for a box of them where I can get a really good deal on them. And most of the time, if it's a $15, $16 cigar, if I'm really careful and really shop around, I can end up, on the box price, getting them for 10 or 12 bucks a piece. And that's my kind of a wheelhouse. So I really don't, and I haven't smoked a lot of expensive cigars, and there's just so many good cigars out there that I feel like at this point, I don't really have to, you know.
Right.
So, Don, what about you?
So for me, I try to stay somewhere in the $8 to $15 range, you know, somewhere in that range. I will purchase, you know, the occasional, you know, Padron, you know, 80th anniversary just for a special occasion, you know, go up to $25 or whatever just to have it and you know, smoke it. But I try to stay between 8 and 15 just to, because like you said, Kurt, there's so many good cigars in that range that, you know, and I'll be honest with you, I found one at CI. I went to the CI brick and mortar the other day, and it's the we talked about it the other night, the Chillin' Moose. It was like $3 a cigar, and I actually really enjoyed that cigar. So
Yeah.
you know, I was telling a buddy of mine that doesn't get online or anything that might be the new kind of go-to when you got nothing going on, you just want to smoke a cigar out on the porch. That might be the new one for me to go to.
Yeah, for me, it's the Charter Oak, the broadleaf Maduro. Like if I really watch and get a box of those on sale, I can get them for like $4.75 a stick, and you cannot beat that for that cigar. So
No.
Grumpy, what about you?
Well, I haven't smoked a whole lot of them high dollar cigars. I mean, as far as that goes, but you know, when you kind of have to stay in a budget, and you can get stuff like the Nica Rustica, the Charter Oak. You know, I can get those for $6.75 a piece around here. You know, and you can't beat that price for those kind of cigars.
Yeah, and you were a big small batch guy there for the longest period of time, and you kind of moved away from that. Are you just kind of branching out a little bit, or
no? That played out on me.
Okay.
Yeah, that what I was getting, it was a collaboration of inventory, specific inventory that wasn't, you know, didn't sell anymore. And they would go through and they'd pick 50 sticks out and create a sample box out of the various inventory. And as it would run out,
what happened,
they wouldn't replenish it.
What happened? Grumpy smoked all of them, and they ran out because Grumpy was forever on there. That's the truth, Grump. You smoked them all, my brother, and they ran out. So
basically, you went through them all. You smoked one of each of one they're going to send you.
Yeah, they started repeating, you know, so I sent Paul an email and asked him about it, and he explained it all to me. And he said, if you're starting to see a lot of repeats, then you've already gone through the whole inventory, and some of the boxes, some of the brands are empty and gone, and they are no more, you know. And that's you're starting to see that. So he said, you're not going to benefit from it anymore. I mean, he was straight up honest. I mean, you know, I give him kudos for that. He shot me straight with it. So, you know, I had to find alternative methods. So, you know, now it's got them 5-pack deals.
You know something? You look at what you guys can get in the States, right? With the prices for cigars. Here, of course, in England, we don't get many shops that do the deals that, of course, like Smoking, Neptune's, Famous, different ones do. It's a case of you have to shop around, look at the price, and go. Now, I've had cigars that have ranged from £10 going anywhere up to £100, £200. And that's, of course, the high-end Cubans. But you know something? I'll go now and I'll look at, of course, cigars like Foundation, especially, of course, the Charter Oak, especially the Broadleaf. One of my go-tos. It's a good cigar. I absolutely love it. Now, where I'm fortunate enough is to have friends like you guys that send me cigars from the States that I get to try, and I can't get over here. And it's very hard with cigars, especially here in the UK. Now, of course, whiskey is also put in another comment, which is an interesting subject. So, of course, how long do you leave your cigars in your humidor before you smoke it? And do you have a favorite cigar? So, of course, this opens up to you guys, and then I'll go at the end and see what mine is. But go on, guys.
I think the rule of thumb I like to use is keep it in the humidor for twice as long as it was in transit. But I can't wait. If I get a box or a 5-pack sampler, as soon as I open it, I smoke one. We all like our cigars a certain way, whether it's more spongy or firm and different humidities and temps. But as far as my favorite cigar, if I had to pick a favorite, it's the Flathead 660. But my close runner up to that is the Charter Oak Connecticut Broadleaf. Is one of my favorite cigars.
Good. What about you, my brother?
For me, as far as humidity, I really don't run into much of a problem. So I don't really see a need to, even when I think a lot of these companies, I think most of the time, occasionally you get something that's really dry, but they're really taking good care of the cigars. And I usually get them pretty fast. I'm, kind of central in North Georgia, so it doesn't take as long to get to me. My ideal humidity in my that I like in my humidor, I like 68 degrees and I like 65% humidity. I'm a little bit on the lower side. I like that. And if you go to your brick and mortar, I know my shop up here in Blue Ridge, he's got it like at 70. So I know if I bring that home, it's going to be good. I don't need to let it rest or need to adapt to my humidor. I mean, I'll smoke them. So it's really not that big of a factor for me. My two favorite cigars probably right now, and I got a bunch of them. Of course, the Charter Oak Connecticut Broadleaf. I like the EP Carrillo Allegiance, the AJ Fernandez, the New World, the Red Label one, yep. And I like that 601 Maduro, the Blue Label from Espinosa. Those are probably my favorite right now. This year, I've really been seeking. For whatever reason, I love that Connecticut Broadleaf. If I can find it in a cigar.
Don, what about you, my brother?
So I'm kind of the same. I'd like to say that I'll leave them to rest for a little bit, but I'm like a kid in a candy store. When I get them in, I want to open it up and smoke one. So I don't really have a rule of thumb. If I've got hankering for that cigar, I'm going to smoke it however long it's been in the humidor. My favorite cigar by far, and it's a bit pricey, so I don't smoke it very often, but my favorite cigar is the Liga Privada 10-year anniversary. That's my favorite of all time. So,
and Grump, what about you?
Well, I kind of let hey, watch out now. Look out. I kind of let the cigar tell me. I mean, I'm like Kurt. Yeah, where no matter every place I order cigars, it's only 3-4 days I've got them. They always come with the Bovitas in them. And I'm just like the others. When I get them, I want to smoke one. And I'll let that cigar tell me, whether or not they've been cared for, whether they've been a little long in transit, whether do they need to rest a little bit, am I satisfied with the flavor and the taste? But, I let it tell me pretty much. And as far as a favorite cigar, it's just whichever one I'm smoking at the time.
Yeah.
I like a variety.
When I go up to GQ, basically because I know they've been kept at the right humidity, I put them in the humidor, I take them out, I smoke them. Now, when I have cigars that have come from, of course, the States, I leave them anywhere from 2 weeks to sit in the humidor, because especially with the temp over in Fort Lauderdale, like where, of course, Luxury Cigar Man is when he sends, they tend to normally be a little bit dry, so I have to leave them for 2 weeks. But something, I've pulled them out before, and I've smoked them straight away. And like Grumpy said, you let the cigar talk to you. I always say it's like a woman. If she's nice and wet, it's ready. If she's dead dry, spit on it, and then you go. But yeah,
Man, we just went from like G-rated
to X-rated. Welcome
You're
to
gonna
the
have to start
Loons.
flying warnings out there.
Hey,
Sorry,
not spit
sorry
roasting.
everyone, but this is what we are. This is how we are when we talk. But no, you know something. Just look at the cigar. Look at the cigar. See how it feels. If it's dead spongy, then you know it's too humidified. If it's cracking in your fingers, leave it sit for a bit and just enjoy them. Favorite cigar for me is, you guys know, I absolutely love the Christoph Pissed Off. When I'm in a pissed off mode, that pissed off does me good. And it's a great cigar, and I enjoy it. I like San Andreas wrappers. I like broadleaf wrappers. Don't get me wrong, especially the Connecticut. Pennsylvanian, no, it's too oily. I don't like it because the cigar slides on my hand. But I've smoked that many different cigars. I've smoked rare cigars that aren't even made on the market no more. And I'm very fortunate as I managed to smoke these cigars. But always leave it to rule of thumb, especially with your humidor. It's supposed to be 70-70. Look at your cigars when you get them, and then basically just enjoy them. This is the thing. But I do apologise for it going to X-rated, but you know something? We are cigar loons, and this is how we are. We do get a little bit crazy.
So I got a funny story. I joined a live today. It's a guy who doesn't smoke a lot of cigars, but he's getting into it. And he asked me if I'd ever had a Christoph. And I said, and I wasn't live with him. I was typing. I said, I've had the Christoph Pissed Off, but for some reason it didn't that I've had didn't go on there. It just said Christoph Pissed Off. And he's like, what did Christoph do to you to piss you off? I'm like, no. Because he had just got a Christoph and one of the other cigars he hadn't tried to piss off. But he's like, you didn't like it that much, it pissed you off? I'm like, no, that's the name of it. He's like, oh, okay, I gotta try that one.
Yeah, you know something. Many people don't know about a cigar. There's many few who know about it, and when they do get it, they're like, "Geez, okay, it's a great cigar." And I've just seen Vic's comment. So Vic's comment, of course, PG-13, please. Okay, Vic. Okay, we'll go back to PG. But what's everybody think then about cigar rights? Because it's a very big topic in the States, of course, fighting for your rights for cigars. Do you reckon there's the likes, of course, Carlito, the likes of Dron, the likes of Gabby Caffey, and everyone that's fighting? Do you reckon it's good and it's getting somewhere, or are you seeing even though they're fighting for it, it's still not changing the way it's going? Because they've been fighting. They managed to get one document changed in the States. I know here we're trying to fight for cigar rights here in the UK. So do you reckon it's working, or do you reckon it's falling on deaf ears? So JJ, what do you reckon?
I think at this point, for as long as they've been fighting, I want to say it's fallen on deaf ears, which that kind of grinds my gears a bit, because especially here we should be able to do whatever the hell we want to do. I mean, that's the whole basis of our freedoms and stuff. I mean, I think we should just be able to do whatever way, if we want to smoke cigars, if they want to make cigars, it shouldn't be this big drawn out process. It should. I mean, if this is what we choose to do with our time and money and them, I think it should just leave it alone.
Yep. Kate, what do you reckon, my brother?
I think it's a never-ending battle, and I think we've had some small victories, but I think you just gotta, everybody just keeps fighting for it, and I think with the cigar boom of the '90s, and then since then, I think the cigar community is too big now to be ignored. And so I think that's keeping us afloat. And I know there's been a lot of people that have been instrumental. I don't smoke a lot of their cigars, but Rocky Patel, I know he's been very, very active and instrumental personally in fighting for our rights. And I appreciate that, and I don't take that for granted. But I think as individuals, the everyday cigar smoker, I don't think that there's a lot of people that really don't have their eyes open to it, or I don't want to say take for granted, but they got the cigars, they're there. But it's a never-ending battle, and stuff that goes on behind the scenes from these cigar manufacturers. They're really fighting for us. But I think the industry is big enough now where it's going to be a constant fight. But I think we're going to keep moving forward. That's my take on it.
Yep. Don, what's your take, my brother?
So for me, I haven't been smoking, branching out long enough to really feel the effects of regulations and that kind of stuff. Here in Texas, we tend to be really fight for our rights. Like, just for example, I have a son. I would much rather him pick up a cigar and smoke it with me than pick up a bottle of bourbon and drink it. I would so I'm with you. It's our right to, if I know all the studies with cigars and they're much healthier than all the other, but even if they weren't, it's my choice, and I think like the comment just said, other industries have really cracked down, and if we don't continue to fight for our rights to do things, that will then get infringed upon as well. So I'm with Kurt. I appreciate the guys that are out there on the front lines fighting those battles. I'm not educated in that realm to say who's doing what and what's going to happen, but I appreciate it as well, because sitting out here on my porch and smoking a cigar is one of my favorite things to do. So that and with like I mentioned the surgery before, it's my only vice left. So leave me alone.
Right.
Yep. What about you? What about you, Grump? What's your take?
Well, we live in a constitutional republic, and that Constitution, it guarantees us the rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And smoking cigars makes me happy. So
Yep.
If you're going to take that away or try to restrict me out of it or whatever, then I see that as, you're trying to take away my pursuit of happiness, which is constitutionally wrong. But it's like Kurt said too, this thing is so big now, and there's so many people worldwide that enjoy good cigars that I don't see them being able to put a total stop to it at all.
No.
But we should be free to make our own choices as grown adults, though.
Yeah, and this is my take here in England. Why should the government be telling me what I can and can't do when I want to smoke a cigar? I don't have many vices. I like a nice whiskey now and again, and I like a good cigar. And I'm not damaging myself. Medical studies are out there. There's cigar smoking. It doesn't lead to many cancers. Many cancers of the mouth and many cancers are caused through cigarette smoking. It's not caused by cigars. They're saying smoking cigars will cause Alzheimer's. Bullshit. Show me medical research where it shows that you will get Alzheimer's from that. My grandmother and my grandfather passed of Alzheimer's. And that wasn't down to smoking. It wasn't. Basically, they'll try and put smoking on everything health-wise. And this is what the UK's doing. And you know something? It pisses me off. And I mean it pisses me off. Because we shouldn't be getting infringed. We should be allowed to do what we want. Smoke cigars. Yes, okay, we have to follow laws like the police put in place and different things. That's understandable.
Right.
But where our rights are to smoke cigars, yeah, we need to be fighting. And you've only got to look. Kurt mentioned, of course, Rocky Patel. Rocky Patel, of course, made the Prohibition cigar that we smoked, and that was to around the rules of what they were doing. because if you look into it as well, if your cigars weren't registered by a certain time, any newer blends you won't be able to make because of grandfather rights. But they've changed some of the laws and that now, because just look, the companies keep bringing out different cigars with different blends, and it's crazy when you look at it. It is absolutely crazy. But just looking through Vic's comment here, of course, the only thing here in Utah, there's no lounges. Now, that is a real piss rip. When you look at that, there's no cigar lounges in Utah. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
I agree.
I don't want to go
one.
down and get, I don't want to get grumpy going on a conspiracy theory, but yeah, I mean, I think our country's got a lot more problems than worrying about cigars. I mean, you look at the food and diet industry, and with all the preservatives and fast, our country is riddled with obesity and diabetes. And I don't know where diabetes now is on the biggest killer, but it's up there. And there's way more things that we need to be worried about than cigars.
Yeah, but it's like what, of course, whiskey's just put there. They're trying to take the rights away from pet owners, like the reptile industry, and they are fighting here to keep it. So we need to fight to keep making cigars. And then, of course, Foley. So I to Foley, of course. Hey man, let us enjoy our damn gum stogies. And I've just seen, of course, whiskey there in Utah. You can't order cigars. I've had them shipped to you. It's just crazy when you look at different things of what happens around and what you can and can't do. It just doesn't make sense, because the last time I looked, I'm a grown-ass man, and if I want to smoke a cigar, I'm going to smoke a cigar. If I want to have a whiskey, I'm going to have a whiskey. And you know something, I just hope there's what you guys are doing in the States fighting for your rights. They bring it to the UK and we start doing it, because if we don't, then we're going to have what we've got now with the big importers telling you, well, you're going to pay this price. Okay, yeah, we'll pay that price all the time, which you can't afford it over here. It's too dear. Like I said, you've only got to look at the factory smoke, like Grumpy brought up. $2 a cigar. Over here, $15 for that cigar.
And
Yeah.
that's hard for me to wrap my hand around, because I gave $15 for this cigar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
and sometimes over here, being free, it don't feel too free sometimes, and that's hard. That's really hard for me to say, but
It's true.
it's a broad. That's a broad definition within that 4-letter word. I don't feel too free sometimes.
Well, you look at it like here in Texas, we pay the normal sales tax and all that kind of stuff on cigar, which I get all that. And then they put 1 penny on every cigar as a tax. You look at that same cigar over in California, and they're getting 50% of the cigar. I was talking Ruben, the guy who joins us all the time. He was talking about cigars. If he buys from Cigar International, they put a 50% tax on top of what I've paid for it here in Texas, and that's crazy to me. Just
Foley, I'm smoking the My Father Le Bijou 1922.
But you've only got to look, right. You see it in states. Of course, Florida, it's no tax. You look at, of course, where Kurt is. You said, Kurt, it was 23%, didn't you?
Yes.
In tax.
Yep, 23%. If I buy a cigar at my local lounge up there, there's 23% tax on it.
Yeah. Then you look at states like New York. Fucking hell, yeah. You look at California, where, like Ruben, you ain't going to be able to afford a fucking cigar in them states.
I think New York is 75%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Yep,
They're outside of their mind.
75, it is. And you can research this. Anyone who's interested in researching this, if you put in, of course, state taxes for tobacco, you'll find a full map of America, and it'll give you every single state with how much the price is. And it's just crazy. You look here, we're we've definitely got to be 100% over here. But ours is because of shipping, customs charges, then of course it going from the facility to the shop, then the shop's price that they pay for the box, then what they can make on the box. So you look at, of course, this cigar, which is, of course, the My Father Connecticut. I don't know how much it is because I was giving it for free, but I'm reckoning this is near enough a $25 cigar here for this cigar. And that's crazy. You only got to look. Of course, I had the box of Basenci Alma Fuente Robusto 1 brought for me. That was £279 here in the UK. When you work it out near enough a $300 box, I can go on to Neptune's and pay $198 for the same box. Just look at the price difference. No wonder everyone in the UK buys cigars from the States and buys from, of course, Spain and different places because you get them for cheaper. People want to save money. They don't want to be paying dear. And
Really?
last time I looked in the UK, I thought we were free and independent to do what we wanted in England.
Absolutely.
We ain't, because we're being told by government you can and can't do this.
Yeah, and I think, Gaz, part of your problem is you've got just a handful of importers that really, really control things. And it's like, I don't know. It seems like you get a little tube of Vaseline when you order your cigars, man.
Yeah, really.
It's crazy.
Brother, it's like a cigar mafia. It's a cigar mafia over here. Free own it because it is the importers.
Go to
Davidoff, Tall, Hunters and Frankfurt, Interbac, all the rest, the biggest importers sit on that forum. And if you're a newer importer, they want you to put in £5,000 to start, which is your first meeting. If you pass that meeting, you then have to put another £5,000 in. And then you get a little bit of a say, but you don't get to sit on the panel of the board. And they rule it. They rule it. This is how it is. They rule the country. And I've just seen, of course, Foley's comment here. He says, I have a friend in Australia. He used to tell us all the time on the tobacco prices. Yeah, and Australia suffers because England own it. So, of course, Australia's going to suffer. It's going to suffer the same prices as here. Where you look at New Zealand are getting rid of all of it. New Zealand have had enough of all smoking products. And New Zealand's gone down to the process like Canada. We're putting the black bands on. So you don't know what you're smoking. You just get the name of the cigar. You don't get the nice fancy band like we get. And it's crazy. This is the thing, we can carry on talking about this subject for hours upon hours. And it's just one of them where we definitely got to band together, brothers, sisters, and say, you know what, enough's enough. We enjoy this because just think of the repercussions if cigars were taken off the market. You look at all the growers, that's a job gone. Over 200 hands touch a cigar. Just look at that. That workforce, it's lost its job if we take cigars away. And yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. I'm hoping there's, when my son's 18, he comes to me and says, Dad, fancy having a cigar together? And I'll be like, yeah, okay, Lucas, let's have a cigar together. Which I can't see it happening because I don't want him smoking cigars because I smoke them, and I don't want him smoking my cigars unless he buys me one.
Half Wheel has a good cigar taxes by state. I finally found on mine. I pay 12 cents a cigar is what they charge taxes, but then Texas is 1.1 cent per cigar.
Yeah.
But like Rhode Island's 80%, Utah, Vermont's 92%, Washington's 95%.
Good grief.
So as of right now, Oklahoma and Texas pay the least amount per cigar.
What's Florida say?
Florida on here.
0%. 0%.
Yeah,
You don't pay
none.
tax.
That's why all your
0%.
that same with Pennsylvania. That's why all your big box stores are. Everything comes out of Pennsylvania, Bath, Pennsylvania. That's where most of them are.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where CI is. I think when I order my stuff. It's Bath, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, famous
Yep.
cigar page. They're all up there. Yep.
Yeah, they're all. JR, I think's in like Greensboro, North Carolina, or something like that. They got a big one over there.
Well, everyone, we're on an hour and 15 minutes. So, you know what? This has been, of course,
You got a
the
date?
Cigar Loon. Well, hey, I can run on a little bit longer if you guys want to run on a little bit longer.
Man, go ahead. Go ahead, man. I'm just messing with you.
No, if you guys want to run a little bit longer, we can run a little bit longer, or we can cut it and then we can have it.
There was a question that Whiskey Tube had a while ago. Maybe we can go over that real quick before we go. Advice for new cigar smokers. I'd like to see what everybody's take is on that.
I think for myself, because I still consider myself a new cigar smoker, try whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just buy you a stick and try it. You don't know if it's too strong. And here's the thing. Don't try to compete with everybody else. You might have a factory smoke and they might be smoking a Plasencia. You're still smoking a premium handmade cigar. It's okay. That price difference doesn't divide us. It only brings us together. So don't be afraid of that.
My advice to newer cigar smokers would be go into your local B&M, go and talk to the steward at the shop and tell them that you're a new cigar smoker. Listen to the advice that they can give you, because they will talk to you and say, well, have you ever had a cigar? And of course you're going to go, well, no, I haven't. So they'll probably suggest maybe trying infused cigars. But don't get me wrong, it's still a cigar. It's still premium hand rolled. Yeah, it's got that little bit of a flavour to it. But if you don't want to try that, then ask about, of course, Connecticut cigars. Try a Connecticut. The Perdomo Champagne 10th is a nice cigar. This, my father, Connecticut's not a bad cigar. Like I say, there's loads, but go and talk to them, get their advice, and just try cigars. You know something? If it doesn't agree with you, you don't have to go and visit it again. And that's my advice. What's yours, Kurt?
My advice is very simple. Just smoke. Get out there. It kind of depends on, I think your diet plays into it. If you're someone that eats a lot of spicy foods, you might be able to handle something with a little bit more pepper in it. But do your research on the cigar. I think as long as you're staying in that medium range, I think you'll be all right. And you just got to smoke. You'll find something you like. Just smoke, and don't be afraid to try different things. And as far as the Connecticut, yeah, those are great. But also, I think there's a stigma around Maduro. Everybody thinks, Maduro is strong, and that's not necessarily true.
No.
That can actually be a sweeter wrapper. And when I say sweet, I'm not talking about sweet. Like it's more of in the raw sense when I say sweet. But yeah, just get out there and smoke. Try. And if you find something, let's say you buy a 5-pack and you smoke one, you don't like them. Grumpy would be more than happy to give you his address, and you can ship them down to him.
Certified Florida incinerator. I got your address.
Jesus, I've heard it all now. Don, what would your advice be to a new cigar smoker? Because you still class yourself as a new cigar smoker, but you're not. But what would your advice be?
So for me, smoke what you like. Don't worry about all the stigmas out there about infused cigars, and if that's what you like, that's great. Smoke it. I'm Kurt. I enjoy an occasional Fat Bottom Betty. The Crazy Alice. I enjoy some of those cigars that are. I don't smoke them all the time because I enjoy what I would call I hate to even say regular cigar, but an uninfused cigar is just a better way to put it. And what Kurt said too, I hear some people. I spend a lot of time at my cigar lounge, and I hear them come in and say, "Oh man, that wrapper's too dark for me." I'm like, "Have you tried it?" Well, no, but I don't. I find the darker wrappers to be stronger. Not always. We've all had the cigar that darker wrapper that was a mild smoke and something that you might enjoy. So give them a try, and like everybody said, if you don't like it, then don't revisit that one, or give it some time. Your palate could develop. For me, I started out with the Leaf by Oscar, Connecticut. That's what I smoked it for probably 5 years. That's the only cigar I smoked. And I started because I had the same feeling like, oh, those darker ones, man, they're going to throw me for a loop. And then I started smoking some darker ones, and I went, I don't. Don't get me wrong. There are the ones like the one the Grumpy's smoking that'll make your head swim, but there are also some that don't. And smoke what you like. If when I first started going to the cigar lounge, I had a Fat Bottom Betty in my locker, and I was like, man, I'm going to wait till nobody's here and smoke that one. And then I was like, what the hell am I thinking? I mean, I bought it. Why do I care what anybody else thinks about what I smoke? If I like it.
Yeah. Right. And look at the Perdomo 30th anniversary that we just smoked. We all smoked the Maduro, and that's not a strong cigar. That's a straight up mild to medium cigar. It's wonderful. And I would I would recommend that for a new cigar smoker to try.
But you look like what we said, of course, around Foundation cigars, with of course the broadleaf. That's a medium smoke. I wouldn't say that's a strong smoke.
Right.
Try that. Something. Just look at the scale. It should have a strength on it, or it should say full-bodied, light to medium, or medium-bodied. Just try and see what you think. But the main important rule that none of us have said before we get to Grumpy's side, don't inhale. Because if you inhale, you're going to be sick as a dog. So make sure you don't inhale the cigar.
And to that note, I wish somebody would have told me a lot sooner. But if you start feeling that little, not the inhale thing, but if you start feeling a little bit of the nicotine sickness or whatever, having a little something around you with a little bit of sugar, and that makes that go away pretty quickly. So that helped me as far as smoking some stronger cigars and trying them, not being afraid that, okay, man, I'm gonna get sick on the cigar, so I don't want to do that at my lounge because I don't want to get sick at my. I always carry some Tic Tacs, the little fruity Tic Tacs or whatever with me. If I start feeling a little bit head swimmy or my stomach, I pop a couple of Tic Tacs and I'm good. So
yeah. I'm just seeing like Foley's comment that I've been getting better at it. I'd walk into my local shop with cigars in mind or a list of screenshots instead of just enjoying the time there and grabbing what grabs my attention. And that's what some people do. Something like Don just said. Have a sugar packet there, or some dark chocolate, or a bit of chocolate that's got that sugar content in, and it's going to take away that sickness. But let's go down to Grumpy's take. Go on, Grump, do your take.
For a new smoker, don't start with a napalm. No. But now, I have changed my viewpoint on advising new smokers since we had David on. Yep. And he gave us his take on that. And I started thinking about it, and looking at it. And it's like these other guys have said, smoke try what you want to try. Don't be afraid of it. And if you find that what you have picked is a little strong, slow down. Don't smoke it so fast. Sit and take your time. Hiccups, excuse me. And enjoy it. I mean, I used to be one of those that would tell you, start out with a good light Connecticut, work your way up. But just like you guys have said, we've smoked a bunch of darker wrappers that have been mild enough that somebody could start with that with no problem.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gone over to that, like these guys, what appeals to you? Try what you want to try. Don't worry about price points. Don't overextend yourself on your budget, because you think you got to keep up with the Joneses. Find you a good solid stick for a daily, and then fill in your occasions and your fun times with the better sticks. Shop around. Don't be afraid to try things, because it's like you've heard us say tonight more than once. There are so many out there
Jeez.
waiting to be tried, and that are not expensive sticks.
Exactly.
No.
They're
So,
good budget sticks. So
but even
that's what I
still.
would say. Just don't be afraid to try. And if you find out you got something that feels a little stronger than you like, just slow down, and like the guy said, keep a little chocolate, keep a little something sweet, close by, so your stomach don't get, churned up, and just take your time with it. And then you'll know the next time. Maybe I want to get something a little lighter, or well, maybe that wasn't so bad once I slowed down with it. Just you gotta play it. Find what suits you. And like these guys all said, don't worry about everybody else. This is what brings us together in friendship and camaraderie and conversation. It ain't the price of it. It ain't the brand of it.
No.
It's what you like. It's what you enjoy. That's what it's all
But
about.
you know something? Even though you just said right, and I know JJ's thinking, because I can see JJ's light bulb shining, and I know when he's thinking.
It's kind of dim, but it's up there.
It's kind of dim. Don't ever put yourself down like that, my brother. But
No, man.
You don't have to even go to the bigger brands like Arturo Fuente or,
No.
of course, my father. There's boutique cigars out there that are great, reasonable prices that you can afford with the budget that you've got, like Amendola, Protocol, Christoph, Karenberger, Anya Ramirez, of course, one of our great friends of the podcast, Andreas, another great friend of ours from Every Day is a Cigar Day. There's great cigars out there in your price point that you can afford, and just try them. Just try them.
So let me throw something out there. JJ and I have had this conversation. So when you guys are wanting to try something new, do you go more off of the conversations that you've had in these lives and with other people, or you shop with your eyes? You look at the band and go, "Well, I got to try that one. That's a cool looking band." How do you guys branch out to something new? Is it more on the advice of somebody, or is it more on the way the cigar looks and the band and all that kind of stuff?
Me, I let the wife go loose with the credit card. She shops with her eyes. Now, if it's me, I'll go off opinions from like the likes of Pandy or Luxury Cigar Man or you guys, and take your reviews and go, you know what, I definitely need to try it. Or I shop by the band. If the band sticks out to me, then I'll pick it up. You know something? I took Panda's advice, and he said to me, "Look, try the Metap and try the Allmac by Foundation." I'm so glad I did, because I absolutely loved them. And that's my way of going. But Kate, what about you?
For me, since we've had our group this last year, our Discord group, I have gotten a lot of cigar recommendations, and a lot of the cigars that I like today are from those recommendations. And another one that I forgot to mention, another one of my favorite cigars that, Gaz, you turned me on to, is the Caldwell Eastern Standard, the Cypress Room Toro. That's a Connecticut wrapper, but man, I love that cigar. It's phenomenal. So it's really been a blessing to be a part of this group in this community, to be able to just talk about cigars, and somebody says something about it, you look it up and you're like, man, I think maybe I would like that, and I try it, and some of them I don't, and a lot of them I do though, like that 601 Maduro. That's the recommendation I got. The Espinosa, the Blue Label. I love that cigar, and that came from our group. I believe it was Panda that said something about it. And like I said, the Caldwell cigars. Gaz, you got me going down the Caldwell rabbit hole. I'm smoking a lot of Lost and Found series now, and so yeah, most definitely.
And bro, Kate, You turn me on to my brother.
Panda, he
Don't start talking about my cowboy hat now. Jeez.
Here we go, veering off of that PG-13 again.
he told me about the Every Day is a Cigar Day, and I bought the barber poles, and they're on their way. Based off his recommendation, but I do shop with my eyes a lot too. Like I said, and Perdomo, we all know he is a master of his bands. He makes sure those things stand out. So that's the first time I tried a Perdomo was just because I thought his brand looked. I mean, it was a pretty band, and he's a marketing genius, but with his bands. But he makes a pretty damn good cigar.
Yeah. What about you, Grump? When you're buying, what entices you?
Well, now that I've had to come away from small batch, where I have to do my own picking. I take in a lot of the names and suggestions that you guys toss around all the time. When we're sitting having conversation and stuff. And I look them up, and I'll see about them. If they sound interesting, Oh, I haven't done a lot of shopping by eye, according to band. And simply because, and one of the best cigars, that I've got to smoke outside of the small batch stuff. One of the best cigars that I've gotten to smoke was one of those Prohibitions.
Yeah. And
that's about as plain a band on a cigar as you can get, So the bands are attractive. They will catch your attention. And yes, I have bought cigars before based on what the band looks like. Yep. I mean, I'm as guilty as everybody. But that's not normally the way that I go about. If I want to try something new, that's not normally the way I go about it. And I normally would grab, if I can't grab a single and a sampler of some sort, then I'll grab a 5-pack, to get a good feel for it. Do I like it? Do I not?
What about you, Don? What's your take? I know you said you and JJ have had this chat, so what's your take, my brother?
I think I'm about 50% of both. I've really branched out since meeting you guys, and you may realize, you may not. When you guys throw out a cigar, those of us who are newer, I get a lot of grief for saying I'm a new cigar smoker. I've been doing it for a while, but for some of us that are newer, I make a mental note, or I type it in my phone in my notes, like, hey, try this. Well, JJ's sitting in front of the computer, he's typing away. But for me, but I also do, if I go to the lounge and I'm in the mood for something new, I'll spend 20 minutes in the humidor walking around saying, all right, what catches my eye here, and so, and I'll try it. If I like it, great. It becomes part of the rotation. If I don't, then it was 20 minutes out of my life to looking at stuff. So I think I'm about 50% of both, but I enjoy the community that we all have too, because I don't know the guy, all the guy, the Espinosa and all that. I would have never tried an Espinosa, to be honest with you, had I not met you guys. I would have never tried some of these other ones without the recommendations. And not saying I wouldn't have tried it because, being a snob or anything, I just wouldn't have known about it to try it, to seek it out. Foundation, I probably would have never, had the Tabernacle if we hadn't given, Luxury Cigar so much grief about smoking as many Tabernacle. But I tried it. I love that cigar, So for me,
something stands out to me, and I don't know if you've ever heard it, and it's because you've just mentioned John, Luxury Cigar Reviewer. He said to me, and we spoke about this, and I said to him, how do you choose the cigars you choose, John? He goes, I let the cigars talk to me. I'm like, what fucking shit are you been smoking today? You're letting the cigars talk to you. I'm like, fuck me, you're on a different planet. But you know something? It's true. Let the cigar talk to you. Look at it. Read it. Read what the box says. Look at the band. And you know something? John's right on what he said there. With that, let the cigar talk to you. Because you know something? You're either going to go, you know what, that band doesn't stick out to me. Well, yeah, it does. And yeah, and that's the way it is. I've just seen, of course, Foley's thing. So Foley's just said, but we all have certain brands that we consider our go-tos. Like, I've never smoked the Stogie, but it's from so-and-so. I know I like it. Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
There you go.
It's a big, big, big market. A
Now,
lot of
you gotta be
cigars. Go on, Grump.
you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with that, Foley. See, they tease me all the time about being the Gurkha fanboy of this group. For a long time, it didn't matter if it was Gurkha. I'd pick it up and smoke it because I knew it was going to be good. Then along come the Beauty and the Beast and the Titan, and and they sucked. So
Yep.
be careful by going by just saying, oh yeah, man, that's going to have to be a good one.
Which I got
Most of the
Gurkha
time
too,
it will.
because I heard you guys talk about it, and I loved this cigar. It beat my ass, but it was a good cigar.
Which one was that
Oh,
again, JJ?
The Evil.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is pretty good.
It's another one that's a little sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Just go and explore. Go and smoke them, enjoy them, and try them.
Yeah.
You know something?
Yeah.
You of course, can get us on TikTok, our different platforms, and even, of course, going on to www.cigarloons.com. Of course, you can find out the dates of the guests. You can read, of course, Cigar Kurt's blogs on cigars he smoked. And also, you can get your merch from there, which, of course, we're wearing. So you can get our merch, and, of course, JJ's representing. But you can also get us by our links on there for Instagram and shoot us a message and ask us about recommendations, and we can try and help. And you can also, of course, get Cigar Don on, of course, TikTok. You can get JJ on TikTok as well. And go and check out his podcast and go check that out, because, like I say, New Cigar Smoker is introducing you to some new cigars and the great little episodes to watch. So go and check, of course, JJ out. But from us, it's a big thank you for watching. Absolutely. Sorry we got a little bit X-rated, but you know something? I'm going to go get stripped. I'm going to go scratch my balls and have a great time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He ain't sorry. He ain't sorry.
I'm gonna, man. I've just seen this. The wife's commented. So the cigar could taste like an ass from reviews, but if I like the brand and it stands out to me, I'll buy it and try it. And you know something? No, Emily's right on what she says there, because I've had cigars that have tasted like dog shit. Emily smoked it and enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know something? Emily's favourite is the Rocky Patel Royal Torpedo. She absolutely loves that cigar. Me, it's okay with a cigar. It doesn't give me what I want in that cigar, but Emily loves it. And that's the thing. Hey, I've just seen, of course, Mr. Panda. So, good evening, Mr. Panda. Hope you're okay. And thank you for coming in.
What's up, Panda Man?
But like I say, to everyone who's watched, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And, of course, enjoying this chat. We have been, of course, the Cigar Loons. And, of course, we've had our two special guests and friends and brothers of the Leaf and Cigar Loons, JJ and Cigar Don.
Thank you for letting me be here. It means a lot.
Brother. It's an absolute pleasure. You know something? We've enjoyed the company, having the chat, and you know something.
Glad y'all are here, man.
Glad to have you. It is. That's what it's about.
And lots of good.
Us,
Lots of good questions and comments in the comments too. We appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, man.
We
Appreciate the
we
followers
appreciate-
asking them questions.
Yeah, we appreciate it big time because you know something. Without you guys sitting there and watching, we wouldn't be doing this. You know something. Like, of course, Panda's just put there. Don't worry about price. Don't worry about price. Because that's the thing. You know something. You could spend all the money in the world on a cigar. Just don't worry about it. Try it, see. Because there's that many different cigars out there. It's crazy. But thank you again for everyone who's watched. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe and hit that notification button, because when you hit that notification button, you'll see when we go live again. And next week, of course, we've got an interesting guest, and it's going to turn X-rated with this guest. Let me put it this way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's not going to be anything on that kind of radar, but it's going to be a great chat with a great guest. And go and check him out. He goes by Sir Louis Cigars on Instagram, and I believe he's also now on TikTok, and he's in America. But from us, catch you on the next one. Stay safe, stay smoky, and enjoy. Catch you soon.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Cigar Loons podcast. We are the invaders of the cigar world.